everyone, and welcome to Games Gamerson presents Very, Very Normal Trivia. I am Games Gamerson, and this is my very normal trivia game. We have got some categories here on the board. We are going to find out what our contestants know about some very fun, very normal trivia categories. Players, are we ready to have some fun here today?
So ready, Games?
You know it.
Deeply concerned.
I love to hear this. I love to hear this. So like I said, we got 6 categories on the board. We're going to find out what our players know about them. But before we do that, it's only right for us to meet our contestants. And we're going to start out with Jacqueline. Jacqueline, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
I hear that you in particular have been doing some very specific research to get ready for this competition. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I decided about 6 years ago to start doing some research for this by diving into media, like Shonen Jump specifically. I've read every single title they've ever put out since 2020, every single chapter, every week.
That's got to be thousands of chapters.
Thousands of chapters, most of them very bad.
Fascinating. Do you feel like does he feel like that knowledge has made you ready for a trivia competition?
Well, I feel like I understand a lot of media trends in general, and it's made me, it's expanded my brain, you know?
I think that's really, really helpful, and I'm really excited to see how that comes into play today in the competition. Thank you so much for coming by. We're going to throw it over to our second competitor, Petra. Petra, thank you so much for joining us on the competition.
Thank you, my liege.
Talk to us. Now, obviously this is an intellectual competition, but I hear that you've also got some physical advantages that you're excited to talk about. Talk to us about what's going on.
Oh, well, when I was growing up as a very small baby shape, I had an incredibly hard head.
Give us some examples. I'm told that you've got examples ready.
Yes, really quick, I'll rattle them off. When I was crib-sized, I would stand up in the crib and I would just grab a hold of the bar with both hands and slam my face directly against the bar. I grew up with nearly perfect teeth.
That's crazy.
Yes. Second, I believe it was shortly after that, I did break a hole in the wall in my family home while playing bullfighter with my sister.
What?
No impact from that on me whatsoever. And lastly, the example I'm bringing is, you remember those old Game Boy bricks, the original Game Boy bricks?
I do, of course.
Boy, that Kirby's Dream Land was real hard, huh? I got real mad at it as a kid and slammed my head full force into the screen. Just broke the whole thing. I hid it in a drawer for my entire. I don't know if my parents even know this. They might be watching this.
That's
I
insane.
put myself through a lot.
Incredible. Well, hopefully this competition hurts a little bit less than some of those stories. Thank you so much for joining us. Our final contestant, Riley Hopkins. Riley, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having me as well. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm realizing that I misunderstood the prompt that you gave me earlier, that your producers gave me earlier.
All good. See, now, obviously, this is your first time on Games Gamerson's Totally Normal Trivia, but I'm hearing that you've also got some other firsts in your life that you're excited to talk about. Tell us about
yeah. We're thinking of fun facts. I listed some firsts. The first album I ever bought was NSYNC's self-titled album. My first drink of alcohol was I bought a whole thing of Apple Jack Daniels, and the first M-rated game I ever bought was Just Cause 2. That's not as much of a funny gimmick or funny joke. That's just all true things about my life.
Now, there's lots of fun to be had there. Now, you mentioned buying a bottle of it. Was that just straight shots? Was it a mixer?
Yeah, it wasn't straight shots. It was Three Fingers Neat. I worked at a grocery store, and I stole it from the grocery store that I worked at because I was like, I think it's time I have a drink. And I was watching, I think, one of the last E3s and poured myself 3 fingers of whiskey neat and drank that. My wife was out, and she's like, "Why did you do this alone? What?" And then I just fucking chilled, and it was like, this is beautiful. Games are beautiful. Cried watching E3.
That's astounding. I hope that fortitude is going to help you guide through the competition.
How old was I? I think 23, maybe 24.
Okay, sure. Now, players, thank you so much. Really excited. Are y'all ready to get into some trivia?
Yeah.
I hate how easy this all looks, Jeff.
Well, that's great. I mean, listen, that's
Games?
confidence. That's very exciting because, as you know, we've got 6 categories here on the board. We've got Sonic the Hedgehog and Friends. We've got the Legend of Zelda, Potent Potables, Professional Wrestling. My Name is Oliver Queen. We've got Oscar-winning Best Pictures, and we're going to find out just what our players know about these categories. To start things off, can we get a point on the board for Riley Hopkins? And now, with that, I'm so sorry. Actually, before we get into all of that, we've got to get to know our players. We're going to start with Jacqueline. Jacqueline, I hear that you've got some history in the employment world that you think might be helpful in this competition. Talk to me about some of the places you work, some of your professional experience coming into this.
Well, my professional experience coming into this, I've worked at restaurants, I've worked on farms, I've worked at gyms, and I think that's given me a diverse array of like experiences to really tackle this challenge.
Probably met a lot of people. You probably, you got a lot of stories, and I feel like it's gonna give you a lot of useful factoids. Would you feel similarly?
I feel very similarly, Games.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Really kind of excited to see that play out today in the competition. We're gonna throw it to our next contestant, Petra. Petra, thank you so much for coming on the show. I want to know from you. I hear that there's a pivotal moment in your life that you feel like makes you a trivia aficionado. Can you talk about the moment that you decided that you were ready to take on a trivia challenge?
Well, I've always been a curious sort. I've been told. Truly told, Jeff, I am entering new territory here.
And that's great. We want those sorts of new experiences. Sometimes going after that sort of a challenge, sometimes that's what makes life worth living. Wouldn't you agree?
100%, Jeff.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. We're really excited to kind of let you have this experience. And finally, our third competitor, Riley Hopkins. Riley.
Right.
I hear you've been doing some traveling to get ready for this. Talk to me about some of the traveling you've done recently.
Absolutely, Games. I went to Milwaukee recently on my birthday, April 14th, because they do an F414 day. It's the zip code of Milwaukee. And we visit there, we hang out, I got cousins who live up there. We watch some of the most recent, big movies that have come out, those big high ranking movies, and came back down. It's an hour away. It's a good visit. And, I think that kind of puts me in a mindset to prepare.
Any particular movie you've seen recently that really stands out to you?
Any particular movie I've really seen recently? I want to see not Hail Mary Malin. What's it called? Project Hail Mary.
Hail Mary. Sure.
I want to watch that. I haven't seen that yet. I think the last movie I've seen, according to my Letterboxd, was the little stop motion freak, the reindeer. Who does that? Rankin Bass, Rankin Bass Hobbit movie. We watched the Rankin Bass Hobbit.
Sure. Yeah. They actually,
as we all know, the music.
I almost saw the Rankin Bass Lord of the Rings movie in theaters this week, but we were getting ready for the stream, so I was like, I think I'm gonna pass on it, but it's on my list to watch.
The greatest adventure is what lies ahead, and that plays that all the time.
Sure.
From The Hobbit.
Fantastic. I hope that some of those experiences really help you win the game today. Players, thank you all so much for sitting down with us. I think with that, I think we're ready to get into the game. We've got 6 categories here on the board, but what am I saying? Before we do all of that, we've got to get to know our competitors. 0 points on the board. First up, Jacqueline.
Hey,
thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Jeff, before we get into it, I think we need to add 2 categories to the board.
Okay. Chat, why don't you tell me what 2 categories you want added to the end of the presentation, and I'll tack them on the end, and we'll make sure that we get to them during the course of the game. So we've got some competitors to get to know. Jacqueline, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeff. Games.
Jacqueline, thank you so much. Talk to me about some advice that you were given heading into this competition that you think is going to really help you shine in today's contest?
What are you fucking
Some-
doing here?
Some advice I was given a lot of advice, including produce eggs, jump high, get power-ups, say a lot of swear words, maybe swing some lightsabers, learn a few things, maybe learn how to like sail or paddle and like go to the Olympics. So that was some of the advice that I was given before this.
Fantastic, fantastic. I mean, is there somebody in your life that you feel like there was one moment where you said, "This is the person that I think is going to make me ready for this competition"?
There was one moment. Yeah, it was the moment that my good friend Luigi said to me, he said wahoo and yippee. And I said, that's right.
Wonderful, wonderful. I hope that you're saying wahoo by winning the game at the end of the day. Thank you so much for joining us. Really excited to have you on the game. Our next contestant, Petra. Petra, talk to me about, obviously, you've been doing some reading, you've been hitting the books. What do you think is the most useful thing that you've learned in doing your research that you think is going to make you ready for this trivia competition?
Well, sweetheart, I'm probably going to say high school biology. I definitely have been brushing up on that, especially I flunked out of that in high school, so I'm trying my best every day to just better myself in that regard. Also, Star Wars.
Anything in particular in those areas that you're trying to firm up on?
Well, of course, but I am not telling you, Jeff. That is my own secret to keep in order to win at this game.
That's disappointing to hear from Banter, but you know what? Sometimes being guarded is the way to win. Thank you so much for coming on. We're going to hopefully open up a little bit by the end of the competition. Our third competitor, Riley Hopkins. Riley Hopkins.
Yeah.
Talk to me about, you do a lot of things. You work on a lot of projects. What in those projects makes you think that you are uniquely qualified to win a trivia competition?
I believe that I'm uniquely qualified because I can come into this and I know that I have something locked on immediately that will help me. I know every curse word. I know shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, tits, fart, turd. I know all of these. I am ready to go through all of them. Ass, all the variations of shit, shithead, any kind of shitting, anything done there. I think I have a good lock on every curse word. I can kind of let rip from the hip whenever needed to. And, I think that'll prove good here because these look easy. These look simple. And so I'm excited to get into it.
You know what? Obviously, the censors are not going to be super happy with this one, but you know what? That's passion. That's expertise. And we appreciate seeing that. That's great. Well, players, thank you all so much for joining us here on the show. We got 6 trivia categories on the board. But before we get into all of that, I think that we've got to meet our competitors. Can we get 2 points for Jacqueline and 1 point for Riley on the board?
There it is. Okay, locked in.
What was the ratio?
I think Jacqueline hit 2 actual answers behind here and gave 2 examples of trivia on the board that are clear.
We're gonna go meet our competitors. We're gonna throw it over first to Jacqueline. Jacqueline, thanks so much for joining us here on the show.
Thank you so much, Jeff.
A question for you. Let's say you win. What do you think? How do you think being a champion is going to change? How do you think winning tournament today is going to change your day-to-day life?
In my day-to-day life, I am going to watch more films like Solo. I am going to think about the powerhouse of the cell. I am going to I'm going to think about people like Glass Joe. I'm going to think about Glass Joe a lot.
Glass Joe.
I'm going to think about Boo and I will
Great. I mean, really great, really great. Glass Joe, famously the loser of losers, famously never advanced beyond the first level of Punch-Out, but great that you're thinking about him nonetheless. Hoping that some of those expertise is obviously not Glass Joe because, he was a loser, but hopefully some of those other expertise give you some insight into the game. Petra, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you.
Petra, obviously, you mentioned you are a curious person. You mentioned you're trying to come here for the experience. What to you would be the sign that you've made it? What would be the sign that to you that says that this competition paid off in the end? Is it winning? Is it getting to the end? What would make it worth it for you?
Well, Jeff, much like the world champion athlete Michael Phelps and his doppelganger Michael Melps, I want more than anything to make the crowd go wild with my own natural talents, my freakish natural talents. Much like who the hell's in the extended universe? Mara Jai from the Star Wars extended universe.
You want to play with me on extended universe shit? You want to step into my world?
Riley, I super don't. But if we're going to we're headed into, but I want to handle things with grace, very much like a princess, Princess Peach, Princess Daisy, Princess Rosalina, the whole cadre. Fuck, shit, piss, etc. Now, I feel it in my what wasn't said before. I feel it in my bones and my mitochondria, in my I can't think of another cell. A livicular cell.
Great.
Is that
You
a
know
thing?
what? I mean, that's really appreciate it. I feel like I'm glad that you're feeling it. I'm glad that it's a really internal thing. A lot of contestants, they externalize this, and I think that it kind of takes them away from the experience. But you know what? You're fired up. You're fired on all cylinders, and we really do appreciate that. Our third competitor, Riley Hopkins. Riley.
Hey, Games.
Anything that you want to, say to the viewers at home, anything that you want to let them know, like, if they want to get to know you, what is maybe one question that you think that you would love to hear a chat ask you, and how would you answer that question?
One question that I'm always considering is what kind of B-tier Star Wars character that I'm always wanting to inhabit. Much like Devin is Zara, or people like Ezra Bridger, Harrison Dula, Sabine Wren. These are characters that are off to the reaches. They are extended universe, but as we all know, the extended universe goes further than that. That's where you start hearing things like Mithran Nurodo and Rook, or the other guy named Rook, or any of the Skywalker kids, because that's the classic book stuff. And you learn this not only from focusing in on Star Wars and all the ways it's put to you through the whole spectrum of light and how it is refracted through the TV to you, or such things as the movies and books: The Poseidon Adventure, A Night to Remember, Ghost Ship, Greyhound, Titanic, In the Heart of the Sea, Mutiny on the Bounty, Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World, Captain Horatio Hornblower, Mutiny on the Bounty, Poseidon, Sink the Bismarck, In Which We Serve, Captain Phillips, Pirate Radio, The Bounty, Jason and the Argonauts, Moby Dick, Kon-Tiki, all these movies about boats.
Wonderful. I mean, I think that answers the question really beautifully. Really appreciate all the insight that you've given. Players, I'm so excited to have all of you here today. Are you excited to get into some trivia?
You're sick in the head.
Well, hey, we've got 6 categories here on the board, and we're going to find out what our players know about them. But before we do that, we've got to meet our players. Can we get 2 points on the board for Jacqueline, 3 points on the board for Petra, and 3 points on the board for Riley?
Okay, so it's not about beating each other. It's about doing the like.
Really excited. Sitting down, first contestant, Jacqueline. Jacqueline, thanks so much for joining us. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling a lot like being dad right now, but I know that in my heart of hearts, I can sort of progress through this game like Harry Potter did in the Harry Potter books. Or like, for instance, Mashal, Magic, and Muscle is it's like Harry Potter, but a lot better. And it's one of those stories that I think Jeff Stormer, you would love, because you love a story about like a fucking underdog who like really goes the distance like that. And I think that you would really see the beauty in that. You'd be having like, let's say like a deep dish style pizza from Chicago, maybe because you went to Chicago for this. And then but also after going to Chicago, maybe you would go to, watch Synecdoche, New York.
Well, Synecdoche, New York famously said in Synecdoche, but sure. Wait, no, maybe it is set in New York. I don't remember. I remember I watched that movie, but I don't remember if it actually is in Maine, New York or not. We'll say it is because fuck it, it's my show. Well, thank you so much. I'm really excited. Petra, same question. Obviously, you know, high stakes. The game is exciting. How are you feeling?
I'm losing my breath, to be honest, but I could honestly, at this point, I need something to calm me down. Maybe a wonderful red hot dog or a whoopie pie from here up in Maine, where I am from. Some of you may know. By the way, before we even answer the question, Jeff, I have to say you're looking lovely today. Your voice is in top form. Hair, perfectly pointy. I am extremely envious. But I just said how I'm feeling. Yeah, I'm feeling energized. I'm feeling, you know, like any number of characters from Dragon Ball Z that you care to mention. We got ourselves, you know, like our Gokus, our Krillins, our Friezas, our Cells, our various androids, our, you know, Krillins and Kid Boos and Fat Boos, and you know, but I could go on. What really matters, Jeff, is that I focus this energy that I have so I don't go crazy. I focus into a sort of spell, you might say. If I were to go to the Unseen University from Discworld fame and learn all sorts of magic from, you know, you got, oh man, they all know the title. That was the wrong call. That was the wrong call.
Really excited. I'm glad that you're feeling energized. I'm glad you're feeling fired up, but excited to kind of see where the game takes us. Let's turn it over to our third competitor. Same question, Riley. How are you feeling?
Listen, Jeff, first off, can I say, working with you is always one of the pleasures of my life. Not only are you one of the funniest and most well-rounded people
I believe I just heard you say that I'm sick in the head.
Yeah, that's true. That's one of the things that make you unique and beautiful. And I love that, and I appreciate you. I appreciate our love for Dragon Ball Z, our shared love for shonen anime. And, you know, I was telling you, you should watch Dandadan, you should watch Yu-Gi-Oh!, you should watch Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, you should watch Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D, you should watch all these different Yu-Gi-Ohs. Or maybe, you know, it makes me think about how New York's always feeling good. In the movies like Goodfellas, Taxi Driver, The Age of Innocence, all of Scorsese's best work where it shows up as a character. I'm thinking about my favorite hot dogs. This thing I want to do with you where we get in my dad's Sprinter, drive around the country and eat every hot dog from a local business in a state. The Chicago style, the St. Louis, the Santa Fe, the Maxwell Street Polis, all up and down. I was thinking about that time the Taylor Swift Twitter account went offline for months because she refused to join the IDF and went to jail instead, and then came back. She's a fucking real one. I don't know if you remember that like I
very
do.
much remember that, yes.
I've been thinking a lot, like I talked about watching those Lord of the Rings Rankin Bass movies, Saruman in there. I've been thinking about some of the Raistlin Majoret from the Dragonlance series. Do you know how hard it is to Google a wizard and not get a freak? But that's fine because we know the one. We know the one that we're going to see with our own eyes, and that's John Constantine.
Now, you did just mention Googling things, which means that I cannot give you any points for this round. That is, our producers have said that is cheating and that you should be shamed for that.
That's really good. That's really good.
You let it be known that you were cheating. But nonetheless, I do appreciate the compliment though, and I am excited. I would love to travel the country eating hot dogs. That would be a dream. I can't give you points for cheating, but I'm nonetheless happy to travel hot dogs with you. Players, thank you so much for sitting down with us.
Thanks, Jeff.
We get 4 points on the board for Jacqueline and 4 points on the board for Petra.
I'll kill you.
Well, hey, Riley, a lot of game left to play. You know, we've got 6 categories here on the board.
Is there a lot?
Excited to get to know what our players know about all these categories. But before we get into that, I think we got to meet our competitors. First up, we're going to meet Jacqueline. Jacqueline, thank you so much for coming down and joining us. Can you tell me a little bit? You know, what is your story? What brought you here? What is the journey that brought Jacqueline to the competition?
Honestly, here are the 6 things that brought me here.
Proceed.
It's mostly scamming people on Copper, reading books such as Different Seasons, It, and Cujo, checking out people like the Clue Master, the Clock King, and also Two-Face, kicking dogs, small ones, and the works of Taft, McKinley, who was assassinated, and of course, at the end
McKinley,
of the
who
day,
was
that
assassinated.
that guy from The Sopranos named Big Pussy. So those are all the people who brought me here.
Really,
I need
really
to know-
great. I mean, a tremendous journey that brought you to this moment.
I need to be extra sure which category kicking dogs belongs to.
Petra,
Well, that happens in Cujo. You have to understand.
Petra, excited to have you here on the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thanks, Jeff. Hi. Hello.
Same story. Tell me your journey. Obviously we're here. This is a high profile moment. Tell me the story of what brought you to the competition today.
Well, one day when I saw, I was, I was meditating on the words of famous of George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, others, and and I thought that I wanted to really accomplish something in my life. Jeff, you're a very accomplished person. I know the compliment part is over, but I just want to, you understand.
You can just compliment me for free. There's nothing saying you can't do that.
But if I was just thinking that I was on a course in my life where I was set to be, a terrible person. Your clay faces, your jokers, your two faces, etc. But instead, I wanted to make sure that I was, ready to take on the challenges of the world, take on, the chickens, the small round cats, the possibly, wounded birds of some kind. That may come across my path that I wouldn't have, so I'd have to steel in my spine in order to deal with those situations. But lastly, I was talking to my friends, Big Pussy, Christine, and oh boy, suddenly the last Stephen King names jumped out of my head. And I came here, and I'm just ready. I'm raring to go, Jeff.
Really,
thank you so much for having me.
Incredible journey, incredible story, incredible experience. Incredible story, incredible experience. Finally, Riley Hopkins, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having me, Games.
Real quick, tell us your story. What is the journey that brought you to Gamerson's Totally Normal Trivia?
I came from a long line of copper merchants, and let me tell you, we provided the best copper you could imagine. That's some shit we did for sure. And then, I took a long time reading growing up. Carrie, the Tommy Knockers, that one about that kid who loved that baseball guy. I could take on most small dogs and anyone smaller than 15 pounds. That's a promise across anything. And I fought that all the time. Walking the streets of Chicago, I would walk up from the L train where it would go Washington, Adams, Monroe, Jefferson, and then all the way out here in the suburbs. We're here in Roosevelt, Jackson, where you see Roosevelt 2, Bush 1, Bush 2, Reagan, Nixon, Obama, Biden, Clinton. All of those people were out here walking around. And on top of that, recently I've been listening to Media Club Plus where they're talking about Tony Soprano and his therapist who he does not sleep with, Big Pussy and Little Pussy, and then a mixture of a bunch of different Italian names. I presume a Vinny, I presume a Tommy, all these things out there in the wild. This is the path that I've followed today, and none of it's made me a joker. None of it's made me a person who has two faces. No one has made me a Tommy Hush Elliot. No one has made me a Tommy Hatouche Elliot. No one has made me a Red Hood or, God forbid, a Tommy Hathreesh Elliot. I have avoided all of these things.
We really
we are speaking tongues.
We appreciate the journey that you've taken. Chicago sounds terrifying.
There's a lot of streets named after presidents legitimately in the loop that go up from like where you get off the train if you take the Metro in the BNSF line.
Great. It sounds like it's a tough city, but I think it's shaped you into the competitor that you are, and I'm excited to kind of let it play out.
The fighting dogs happen mostly in Iowa, where the goldfinch is the state bird.
Real talk, Petra, did you hit all 6? I got 4, but I need to count. I need honesty.
I don't think I hit E. Nasir.
Okay.
You did not.
All right, great. Thank you for keeping me honest as I try to keep track of this stupid gimmick.
Hush 3, and then Miss Drake and Jen saying somewhere Jeff Loeb just became erect. It's fucking awful. Go to hell. And don't forget, if you donate for your added trivia category, make sure to say what it is as well when you put it in, including Kansas, the greatest city in the world, Kansas City from Cam Koenig. And then Seraph, not Sam Reich and Cam and Commenter, please, please, please say what your bonus categories are.
All right. Hold on. Kansas, greatest city on Kansas. Were there other ones?
There
one
are
is
three people who donated
past,
and did not say.
All right, I
past
just put it in
dating
chat.
experience.
What was it?
Dating experience.
Dating experience. All right, chat. If you got 2 or 3 more, whatever Jeff wants, great.
All right.
I mean, technically, this whole game is whatever Jeff wants.
I shouldn't have said it out loud, but I got too caught up in the spirit of working with my cohorts.
All right,
It's
and
like how mad I am that I missed out on the Zelda topic now that I know what's going on.
I know. I don't even know what I got in that first round. I'll be 100% honest with you.
I can tell you now. You
Oh my God.
you said you drank an alcoholic beverage, which is a potent.
Oh my God.
That rules. That's awesome.
All right. Great. Let me just. Okay. Great. Players. We've got some trivia categories here on the board. We're excited to find out what our players know about them. But before we get into that, I think we've got to get to know our competitors. First up, we've got Jacqueline. Jacqueline, thank you so much for joining us here on the show. Jacqueline, did you do any?
matey?
Okay, great. Jacqueline, obviously you're up against some absolute titans of trivia. Do you have anything you would like to say to your competitors? Any words of encouragement, words of discouragement, etc.?
I'm gonna say a few things here. One, I'm gonna say that you should not underestimate me. Similar to how you should not underestimate the rule of Paul Atreides, who would go on to one day, who would one day birth Leto Atreides, who would be a big worm, and that big worm one day would say, "Hey, I'm this big religious leader, but I'm really sad, Doc. What should I do?" And the Doc said, how about you go and talk to the big worm? The big worm's really embarrassing, and we should go and point at it. And the king lead said, "But I'm the big worm, doctor." And the doctor was like, "In that case, well, you should actually probably just go watch I don't know, fucking." Maybe Come Drink with Me. That's a pretty good movie. I would say that grown-ups should watch it. And maybe listen to a little soundtrack. Like for instance, you could listen to Limp Bizkit.
Okay, great. You know what? We appreciate it. Competitors, I hope you take that wisdom to heart. Did I assign points for the last round? I don't remember if I did or not, but I think I did.
I know you said it. I don't know if you said it out loud. Whose points went where?
That's 5 points for Petra and 6 points for Jacqueline and Riley. And that is another 6 points for Jacqueline, but we'll get to that at the end of the round. Next up, Petra, same question. Any encouraging words you want to pass on to your fellow competitors as we get into our trivia competition?
Yo ho, Jeff. First, before I lose track of what's going on and just slip the knot entirely, I just want to make sure that I'm in prime form. Make sure that we're all in prime form here. Make sure the spice is flowing. Make sure that you know who you are, and make sure that you and your medical professionals know who you are. And if you were to just, for instance, have a dream within yourself, a dream within a dream, even like that, Inception, whatever the heck that was. I think it was a book. Who knows? Then you should make sure that you just are aware of everything that you are envisioning, your great warlord that you have inside you, so to speak, your Nobunaga's, your Guan Yu's, etc. I'm guessing here, but just make sure that but more importantly than anything, make sure you have a good time.
Riley, I'm seeing you shake your head. Were those not names for the Romance of the Three Kingdoms?
Guan Yu is.
All right, that's all. That's great. Petra, we appreciate it. Excited to get into everything. Again, competitors, take those words to heart. Riley, same thing. Any words you want to pass on to your fellow competitors here at the top of our game?
The words I want to pass along are some that were said after Lu Bu killed Dong Zhuo after defending him from Cao Cao for years, including the words he said about Paul from Dune with that torment box, including the words he said about Creed's hire, Lit's my own worst enemy, and the words he said when he saw Whiplash and Marty Supreme. And they all sat down and they said, I can't wait to do all these things, but who will we do them with? And I said, well, I'm sure you could find somebody. And they said, I hear Riley's in town. I should go do all these wonderful things with Riley. And I said, but wait, my friends, I'm Riley. Yo ho 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 ho.
You know what? Real talk. I was like, they both said things in a pirate voice. But I do think that Riley saying everything in a pirate voice does one up that and adjust the scores accordingly.
Eat shit. Walking the plank, you landlubbers.
Which means, players, thank you so much for joining us here on the competition. Excited to get into things. We've got some trivia categories here on the board, but before we get into them, we've got to know a little bit more about our competitors. Oh, these ones are red. They appear to have been listener submitted. And also, a side note, Jacqueline and Petra should both get 5 points, and Riley should get 4 points. Just go ahead and update that on the scoreboard.
What? I hit everything.
Did you hit everything?
I hit everything. I list them out. Control Z.
Thing.
Let me go back to my note. Lu Bu was Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Paul was Dune.
Whiplash. Oh, you said Paul. All right, that is 5. That's 5.
Creed's hire and Lit, my own worst enemy. Pagliacci, listing the Pagliacci joke at the end of that. Whiplash and Marty Supreme as movies for adults. All in a pirate voice.
Riley's taking notes. Is that allowed?
Taking notes is allowed. Googling things is not, but taking notes is in fact allowed. That's playing the game. Well, anyway, we've got some trivia categories on the board. Are y'all excited to answer some trivia questions?
Yes, we are.
Well, before we do all of that, we should take some time and get to know our competitors. Jacqueline, it's time to get into your fellow competitors' heads. Can you, get into their heads? This is your time to cut a promo and really let them know why you're the one that's going to win.
Here's why I'm gonna win. I am from Oklahoma, which is located pretty close to Missouri, which contains one half of Kansas City. Now, you need to know about me. When I was 14 years old, I had my first partner, and I learned a lot of things. Including that Jeff likes Dragon Ball Z, that Jeff likes Rocky, and which is actually funny because my current... Maybe that's too much. Because actually related to someone who is related to one of the creators of Rocky. No big deal though. And I was eating a sandwich made of stone. It was really hurting my teeth, but it was fine because I remember the advice that my good friend Oliver Queen said to me. He said, "My name is Oliver Queen. For 5 years, I was trapped on a deserted island. Now I've come back to save my city." And he saved it from people, of course, like Slade Wilson and fucking a really strange version of Count Vertigo, who is a drug dealer. But that's fine because you always just have to remember to have fun. Just have fun.
Great. Strong words. A competitor to watch out for. We also got Petra. Petra, thanks for joining us on the competition.
Thank you very much, Games.
I'm going to give you the floor. Obviously, get into your opponent's heads. Let them know why you're the one that's going to win.
Yes, I will. And I am going to start off by just making sure you have... Ooh, I was touching the problem from the last round. No. Get inside your heads. None of y'all got this, okay? Just want to make sure that, man. But I'm gonna be honest, I'm tapped.
You're in your head. I'm in your head. I live in your head.
I started thinking about my previous dating experience, and it completely blew.
Well, you know what? That's the the game. High stakes. It sounds like Jacqueline got in your head. Riley, thanks so much for joining us on the competition.
Thanks for having me, Games. I appreciate it.
Why don't you take a moment? Let the competitors know why you're the one that's going to win.
Like somebody who watched the Eagles absolutely house their opponents in 2 Super Bowls ago, like somebody like Goku from Dragon Ball, like the Superman himself, I do know yes, and I do know not to go to space. I do be drinking whiskey while watching The Miz win Money in the Bank and losing my fucking mind and feeling like he's a scared animal every time he's out there, and I'm hoping to God he beats Randy Orton. I know that Kansas City's the birthplace of modal jazz and delicious fucking barbecue. It's genuinely a beautiful city.
I was told to not accept anything about barbecue as an answer. I received explicit instructions.
Don't worry. That's why I answered the hard bop and the mobile jazz. The Kansas City's importance on the jazz route. It was beautiful for the growth of American jazz music. My past dating experience is all in high school. I need to let you know that when it ended, we gave each other report cards, which went just about as badly as you could imagine. It broke bad and span worse from there. And finally, you all look like you ate like I did when I was in college. You would often, I would often eat something that I call disassembled tacos, which was just when I had not enough money, but would buy the 3 pounds of ground beef from Walmart. And I would cut off a chunk of that with a knife and then brown that beef, put it in a bowl with cheese and bell peppers, no seasoning. And I'd call that a lunch. That is how I would live.
That was almost not questionable.
Yeah, you almost had me.
It's truly like, and again, you have to imagine that is the thing I keep putting back in the freezer after cutting it off, so it keeps defrosting a bit and then refrosting a bit. I lived.
That's I mean, that's 6 points, but also that's it's an upsetting 6 points for me to have to experience.
Hey, it's not as bad as the disassembled peanut butter and jelly that I've had in my life.
Please stop. Is what I'm
just
saying.
A bowl. That's just a bowl and a spoon,
competitors,
baby.
thank you for joining me on the show. We're excited to have you. We've got some trivia categories here on the board. We're excited to know what our players know about trivia, but before we get into that, we've got to meet our competitors. Jacqueline, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for sitting here in the game show with us. How are you doing today? Great.
Jeff, I need to be honest with you for a second. Okay, my Letterboxd top 4 is Come Drink With Me, Scream, Nightmare on Elm Street, and finally, The Slumber Party Massacre. And the reason I like those 4 movies so much is because to me, they represent the hero's journey. The hero's journey is sort of like what happened in The Lord of the Rings, but also the Silmarillion in sort of like a metaphorical way. And also The Lord of the Rings is also a Magic the Gathering set. The person who I think would like Magic the Gathering most in the world is probably Magneto, but he's really sad, so he doesn't play Magic the Gathering. And I think the most important thing to remember is that the Odyssey featured many. The Odyssey was actually parallel to Percy Jackson, The Sea of Monsters. It was pretty directly adapted, and a lot of things, like for instance, the Scylla and Charybdis and so on and so forth, were actually used pretty directly. I think that's cool. And also, I just want to say, can I like stop the bit for a second? I just want to say thank you, Jeff, because this is like a really fun game. Like, I just really appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
I'm squeezing my hand real hard so I don't break. You're welcome. Excited to have you on. Excited to have you here. Really, really wonderful. Petra, same question. How are you doing today? How are you feeling? Obviously, the competition's underway. How are you feeling?
I gotta be honest here, Jeff, or Games, if that is your real name, Jeff Games. I guess gotta address the entire bit that's going on here, and just to explain, in order to explain how I'm feeling here, okay?
A lot of
we saw what happened. We saw what happened in the previous round. We saw I wasn't prepared for that. Okay, I have some situations in my life that I'm still kind of working through, and close to my 40s. It's fine, Jeff. But it's fine. You know what, though? It's fine. That's on me. I could have plucked something small for my life. Like, the Thorn Blight card from Magic the Gathering is the only thing that I've ever seen from Magic in my entire life. I don't have a Letterboxd account whatsoever, but I could name a few movies. That's fine. like Hot Fuzz, fucking what did I just see? Project Hail Mary, really good, by the way, Riley. I know you haven't seen it yet.
I'm excited to see it.
There, yeah. I've got other movies like that, but I'm spacing. But again, Jeff, you want me to step into the water, get in the water, much like Poseidon would say in Epic the Musical? No, I'm sorry. I cannot meet you on that level anymore, my man. It is like become so dire to that I am losing my femme voice here. I try to fight. I try to fashion myself a little bit. To some more epic like female figures, like like your Storms, your Jubilees, etc. Especially Jubilee. You love 90s mall teen
God,
aesthetic
are you
whatsoever.
kidding me?
Yeah, it's fantastic. However, when I look at the overarching Silmarillion of my life, Jeff, this is not one of those things that I really thought was really suited for really fits into the overall oeuvre of who I am exactly. But Jeff, I just want to say thank you as well, very much regardless of all those issues.
I really appreciate you saying that. Really appreciate you saying all of those things. Finally, Riley, next question for you. How are you doing? How are things in your world?
Riley,
I'm
can I
doing
stop you
really,
before
really
you
great.
talk really quickly? Sorry, I just want to say thank you again, Jeff. I really appreciate this.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Absolutely. So some of my favorite things in life are the fact I'm calling Jeff Stormer on his real phone right now at the number 26.
Okay. You have the point. You got the point.
Scars of Mirrodin was my first Magic set ever, and I really liked it. I went in from there to Phyrexia, and I had a great time. I thought about A Knight's Tale, Hot Rod, Rosencrantz, and Guildenstern are dead. I thought about the time in the Odyssey when all those dudes go over to his wife's house and think he's dead, but he's a bum outside. I think about how in The Hobbit, Bilbo is kind of a stand-in for the child who the book would be being read to, because he is somebody who does not want the responsibility, but then he kind of gets more responsibility as the book goes on, and the dwarves kind of degrade down into the children that you have to babysit when your parents are away. And I think a lot about how, to me, my X-Men's a really cool Cyclops line that gets used way too much now. People don't know how to write slim, and it pisses me the fuck off.
A lot on your mind. I hope that it does not cloud your mind for the competition as we head into the home stretch, or rather, I guess, as we kick off the game. Because as you know, we've got some trivia categories here on the board, and we're gonna find out what our players know about them. But before we do that, we got to get to know our competitors. Jacqueline, what's one takeaway that you think that you're gonna have from being on this experience, from going all the way here in Gamerson's Totally Normal Trivia?
I'm going to go into it's one takeaway, but it's sort of wrapped up in a bundle of 6 or 7 things. I would a lot of things like dialectical materialism, duck soup. He didn't really talk, labor value expropriation. We're going into I played a board game recently. This is a little bit of a tangent. I played a board game where it was like, here are these funky conspiracy theories, and it was from the 90s, but you drew them, and it was like gas companies knew that global warming was real, and it was like, that's a conspiracy theory. So I guess that's one that I believe, according to this 90s board game. I will say that a TV show that I liked a lot was Legends of Tomorrow, and that was sadly canceled before its time. I really wanted to eventually do a podcast on that or something, but I don't have a lot of time because I'm mostly listening to other podcasts like Party of One and Hello Hyrule and like Riley Hopkins, Their Amazing Friends, and things like that. I oftentimes do that while playing in my I don't actually play Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know anything about that. What Beholder? Am I making you happy? And also Hardware Store.
I'm allowed to laugh now because the round is over, so you can say that one really got me.
And the ball of twine, but done.
Really appreciate it. Really happy to have you here. I hope that you're able to take away all of those scattered thoughts. Petra, what is the thing you hope to take away from this experience?
A stronger constitution, I hope. But I will say, this has been a rather large challenge for me, as I've detailed already. I won't elaborate on that any further. I think from this point on, I'm just going to eat it. But what I hope to attain from this, Jeff, would probably be a greater outlook that I'm able to put forward in the future. Like the next time I show up on the Morphin Grid or PWT. Like those are sometimes kind of easy appearances for me, but there's always some sort of, even though those are good friends of mine, I still, have like that background anxiety like I have right now, going on here.
Sure.
However, like I just want to make sure that everyone, learns from my experience here. Like all of my friends, my comrades, my enemies even, to just unite together against this eldritch, lich king we know as anxiety. And frankly, I can't think of any canceled TV shows for my life. However, I believe personally that I believe that, Jeff, this is actually partly a conspiracy on your part to actually, insert certain categories that will fluster people like myself in order to make the later rounds more interesting or more dangerous even. And while on one hand I do appreciate that, Jeff, on the other hand, I am seriously actually shaking right now.
I thank you for going through this with us. I appreciate it a lot. It means a lot to me. Riley, what is the thing you hope to take away from all of this?
The thing I hope to take away is something I am taking away, Jeff, and it's that a specter is haunting this game show. The specter is coming in and asking, "Do you got any glazed donuts, Jeff?"
No, we're out of glazed donuts.
Do you got any jelly donuts, Jeff?
No, we're out of jelly donuts.
Well, you've got to have any of those Bavarian cream-filled donuts.
No, we're out of Bavarian cream-filled donuts.
Jeff, do you have any cinnamon rolls?
No, we're out of cinnamon rolls.
Do you have any apple fritters?
Wait a minute, I'll go check. No, we're out of apple fritters.
And I think and another thing I'm hoping to take away is a better respect for the different classes in D&D, the rangers, your paladins, your monks, your wizards, your sorcerers. I'm thinking about the Morphin Grid, a show me and Petra both go on, and the canceled show it's about Power Rangers because they're not making any more Power Rangers.
You don't know.
It is.
You don't know that.
They canceled it. They sold the warehouse, girl. I'm thinking a lot about how the one thing I want to take away, and I want to put this on everybody, is that for a long time I really truly believed Courtney Love killed Kurt Cobain, and I don't think that's true anymore. But I do think that something suspicious happened, but I don't really know what. But I do, and this is a Moonshot belief. This is all of Moonshot believes. This is that shit. Is that the government had JFK killed.
Well, fantastic. I mean, thank you so much for joining us. Excited to have you on the show. Are y'all ready to answer some trivia questions?
I'd love to.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Oh, hold on. I'm getting word from my producer. And that's all the time that we've got here. So thank you so much. Sorry that we weren't able to get to the trivia questions, but great to get to sit down and chat with you. Do we want to run through the scores here at the end of our game?
Yes, please.
Fuck. Damn it.
I did the best I could because someone stopped calling out points
I stopped
halfway
counting.
through. But I did what I could.
Yeah, I stopped counting. That's on me. But I was actually keeping track here, and I can say,
Perfect.
I think it is Petra. Unfortunately, that one round really got you in the end. That 1-0. Otherwise, it was neck and neck through the end, and I think that by a single point, Jacqueline took home the win. I think Riley getting busted in the cheating round and Petra getting busted in that early round sealed it. Jacqueline, you are our normal trivia winner. Thank you so much.
None of you motherfuckers know Marx Brothers movies, and that's the difference between you and me.
I completely forgot to mention it.
The only marks I got are the marks on my report card, buddy. I don't know who those freaks are.
Y'all, I've been sitting in this idea for months, so thank you for joining me on one of the stupidest concepts that I've ever
really
created.
Good, Jeff. This was really good. This was really, really good.
Really, really amazing.
Yeah, all said, that was extremely fun, Jeff.
Well, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for donating to Advocates for Trans Equality. It means the world to us. That is why we get together to do these things. I have been Jeff Stormer, your host. Games Gamerson is once again sent back to hell where he belongs. Come hang out with us in just a minute, where I will be running through some truly fucked SimCity action as your acting Moonmare. And then keep watching all weekend, keep donating, keep hanging out with us, and we're gonna throw it over to a Be Right Back screen to get ready.